Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the explosive twists awaiting in the upcoming episode, where old grudges ignite, hidden secrets threaten to unravel, and unexpected alliances face severe tests in the heart of Port Charles. Diving right into the drama, the spotlight falls on the tumultuous return of Britt Westburn, whose shocking resurrection has sent shockwaves through her family and beyond. In this episode airing on Tuesday, September 16th, Britt finds herself at the center of a heated confrontation with her mother, Liesl Obrecht. Liesl, still reeling from the betrayal of believing her daughter was gone forever, unleashes her fury in a raw, emotional outburst. Imagine the scene unfolding in a dimly lit room at General Hospital, where the air is thick with unspoken regrets and long-buried resentments. Britt, ever the resilient survivor, doesn't back down. Instead, she turns the tables, accusing Liesl of molding her into the very monster she now despises. This isn't just a simple argument, it's a deep dive into their fractured mother-daughter bond, layered with years of manipulation, loss, and questionable choices that have defined the Obrecht-Westburn legacy. As Britt retorts sharply, "I am the monster you raised me to be," viewers can expect a cascade of revelations about Liesl's past actions, perhaps hinting at forgotten schemes involving dark family secrets that could tie back to her notorious history with organizations like the WSB. Adding fuel to this fire, Nina Reeves steps in as an unlikely mediator, her own complicated history with family deceptions making her the perfect referee to de-escalate the chaos. Nina's involvement might even introduce subtle hints of her own agenda, as she navigates her role in the Corinthos circle while trying to mend this explosive rift. Shifting gears to the intrigue surrounding Drew Kane, the episode promises a web of deception and desperate cover-ups that could alter the power dynamics in Port Charles forever. Drew, always the strategic thinker with a military background that honed his survival instincts, is laser-focused on burying incriminating evidence that could expose his leverage over Portia Robinson. Picture him in a tense, private meeting at the hospital, his face etched with determination as he summons attorney Martin Gray with urgent insistence. "We have to make sure the police never see that evidence," Drew declares, his voice low and commanding, revealing his intent not just to protect himself, but to maintain control in a town where alliances shift like sand. This evidence, tied to Portia's controversial decisions in the medical field, serves as a double-edged sword, granting Drew power, while diverting suspicion toward Michael Corinthos, whose own family ties make him a convenient scapegoat. However, the plot thickens with an unforeseen twist. Unbeknownst to Drew, Kai Taylor has already pilfered the proof from its secure hiding spot, and Trina Robinson, driven by her fierce loyalty and a desire to protect her mother, has destroyed it in a moment of impulsive bravery. When Drew discovers the blackmail material vanished, his suspicion will skyrocket, leading to a frantic investigation that might uncover new layers of betrayal among his inner circle. This development adds a fresh element of paranoia, as Drew questions everyone from close allies to distant acquaintances, potentially drawing in characters like Willow Tate, whose own secrets could intersect with this mess. Meanwhile, Anna Devane confides in Harrison Chase about Drew's growing troubles, declaring him as Ada Justine Turner's problem now, which sets the stage for legal fireworks that could ensnare more than just Drew in the fallout. No episode would be complete without the high-stakes world of espionage and romance clashing head-on, courtesy of Jack Brennan's iron-fisted leadership. Brennan, the enigmatic WSB operative with a reputation for no-nonsense tactics, is set to deliver a stern punishment to Jocelyn Jacks and her new flame, S. Vaughn, after their botched reconnaissance mission spirals into disaster. Envision the tension in Brennan's office, where the air crackles with authority as he confronts the pair. This little stunt is going to cost you both. What was meant to be a straightforward intel-gathering operation turned chaotic, compounded by the budding romance between Jocelyn and Vaughn, which Brennan views as a dangerous distraction that compromises their professionalism. In a bold move to restore order, Brennan might enforce measures to separate the lovers, perhaps reassigning Vaughn to a remote assignment or imposing strict no-contact rules. Under the guise of operational security, this punishment isn't just about discipline. It delves into themes of forbidden love in a high-risk environment, echoing past storylines where personal feelings clashed with duty, like those involving Anna and Robert Scorpio. Jocelyn, with her fiery Jack spirit inherited from Carly, will likely push back, arguing that their connection enhanced their teamwork rather than hindered it, while Vaughn's mysterious background could reveal invented details about his past missions that make him indispensable yet vulnerable. As they receive updates on the consequences, bad news looms, potentially forcing Jocelyn to choose between her heart and her budding career in intrigue, adding emotional depth to her character arc. Circling back to the core mystery of Britt's return, the episode ramps up the suspense in Sonny Corintho's office, where Jason Morgan unloads crucial details from his recent escapades in Croatia. Jason, the stoic enforcer with a history of pulling off impossible feats, gathers Sonny and Carly Spencer to reveal that someone orchestrated an elaborate scheme to fake Britt's death. The trio huddles in the dimly lit space, piecing together clues amid the scent of strong coffee and lingering cigar smoke, pondering who could be the mastermind behind such a meticulous deception. Was it a shadowy figure from Britt's past, perhaps linked to her time with the Casadinis or even international syndicates? This revelation not only ties into Liesel's ongoing rage, but also opens doors for broader conspiracies, inventing new elements like hidden messages and Croatian artifacts that Jason discovered, hinting at a larger plot involving Port Charles' elite. Sonny, ever the strategist, might connect this to his own enemies, while Carly's protective instincts flare, worried about how this affects their extended family. As they mull over possibilities, the discussion could veer into speculative territory, with invented details about potential suspects like a rogue WSB agent or a vengeful ex-lover of Britt's, building anticipation for future episodes. Wrapping up this whirlwind of drama, the mother-daughter showdown between Liesel and Britt reaches a fever pitch, with Liesel's slap from the previous encounter echoing into more intense confrontations. Liesel's pain is palpable, her eyes blazing with a mix of love and betrayal as she labels Britt a monster for concealing her survival. Britt's comeback is fierce, owning her darker side while throwing Liesel's parenting into sharp relief, perhaps delving into invented flashbacks of childhood moments where Liesel's criminal exploits shaped Britt's worldview. Nina's referee role adds a stabilizing force, her empathy stemming from her own losses, like the daughter she once mourned, potentially leading to a tentative truce or further explosions. This episode masterfully blends personal vendettas with overarching mysteries, keeping fans on the edge of their seats. Next, we will learn about the looming threats and unexpected partnerships that could shake up Port Charles, as shadowy forces pull strings behind the scenes involving Britt Westburn and Professor Henry Hank Dalton. Kicking off this intriguing storyline, the enigmatic Jen Sidwell emerges as a potential menace to both Britt Westburn and Professor Dalton, raising the stakes in a plot that's far from over. Fresh off her daring escape from the Five Poppies resort, where Jason Morgan's timely intervention saved her life amid a hail of chaos and gunfire, Britt can't simply vanish into the sunset. The high-stakes project she's entangled in a covert operation blending cutting-edge science with dangerous underworld dealings means her continued involvement, with the original site compromised by explosive confrontations and betrayals. All critical data and research materials were meticulously backed up and relocated, ensuring the mission's survival. Now, as Britt settles back into the familiar yet treacherous landscape of Port Charles, whispers suggest she'll be compelled to infiltrate Professor Dalton's state-of-the-art lab, forging an uneasy alliance with the eccentric scientist. Imagine the tension in a sleek, high-tech facility hidden within the city's underbelly, where beakers bubble with mysterious concoctions and computer screens flicker with encrypted formulas. This forced collaboration could stem from Sidwell's iron grip, perhaps inventing a new layer where he deploys advanced surveillance drones to monitor their every move, adding a futuristic edge to the peril. Britt, with her sharp intellect honed from years of medical expertise and survival instincts, might initially resist, but the project's momentum leaves her no choice, blending her innovative approaches with Dalton's methodical, if slower, progress. Building on this alliance, Sidwell's role takes a darker turn, positioning him as the new enforcer in this web of intrigue. Much like the infamous Pascal who once dictated terms with ruthless precision, picture a clandestine meeting in a dimly lit warehouse on the outskirts of Port Charles, where Sidwell, clad in a tailored suit that masks his lethal intentions, summons Britt and Dalton under the cover of night. Here, he could relay orders from an even more elusive mystery boss, perhaps a figure with ties to international syndicates that extend beyond the Casadini's reach, inventing details like coded messages hidden in antique artifacts to heighten the mystery. Sidwell's threats aren't empty. They carry the weight of dire consequences, including withholding vital resources or escalating to physical intimidation. For Britt, this hits especially hard, as her dependence on specialized medication doses remnants of her past battles with illness, and experimental treatment serves as the perfect lever for control. These doses, administered to a secretive network of couriers, could be dangled as both carrot and stick, forcing her compliance in ways that echo her previous entanglements with manipulative figures. Like her own mother, Liesel Obrecht, Dalton, portrayed as a brilliant but socially awkward professor with a penchant for obscure historical references in his research notes, might find himself equally trapped, his academic freedom curtailed by Sidwell's demands, leading to invented scenarios where he secretly documents their plight in a hidden journal, hoping for a future escape. Despite Britt's evident skepticism toward Professor Dalton's sluggish advancements, the narrative logic points toward a reluctant team-up that propels the story forward. With fresh dynamics, Britt, never one to mince words, has openly dismissed Dalton's progress as underwhelming, perhaps critiquing his reliance on outdated methodologies. During a tense initial encounter in his lab, surrounded by shelves of glowing vials and humming machinery. Yet, necessity breeds innovation, and she may be thrust into the next phase of their lab work, combining her expertise in rare diseases with his knowledge of biochemical engineering. This partnership makes perfect sense from a storytelling perspective, injecting conflict and growth into their characters. Britt's street-smart pragmatism clashing with Dalton's ivory tower idealism, inventing new elements. Perhaps they discover a synergistic breakthrough during late-night sessions, like a compound that accidentally reveals hidden properties tied to Port Charles' water supply, hinting at broader environmental threats. This collaboration not only advances the plot, but sets the stage for external interferences, drawing in other residents who stumble upon their secretive operations. Enter Emma Scorpio Drake, whose budding detective skills add a layer of youthful rebellion and danger to the mix. As she delves deeper into Professor Dalton's suspicious activities, Emma, inheriting her parents' legacy of intrigue from Anna Devane and Robert Scorpio, is already piecing together clues about Dalton's lab. Fueled by rumors of unethical practices, her plan for a daring break-in, perhaps equipped with gadgets borrowed from her family's WSB connections, like a compact lock-picking device disguised as a bracelet, aims to expose and dismantle his operations. Unbeknownst to her, this isn't just about illegal animal testing. The project encompasses far grander, more perilous scopes, possibly involving bioengineered substances with global implications, inventing threats like viral agents that could be weaponized. Emma's hatred for Britt runs deep, rooted in past grievances where Britt's schemes disrupted her family life, making her all too eager to bring Britt down alongside Dalton if their paths cross. This animosity could explode in a confrontation amid lab alarms and flickering emergency lights, where Emma uncovers documents revealing the true scale of the danger, putting her squarely in the crosshairs of Sidwell's network. The risks escalate dramatically for Emma, as her focus on what she perceives as mere animal cruelty blinds her to the life-threatening undercurrents of the operation. Diving headfirst into this hornet's nest, Emma might trigger security protocols or alert Sidwell's operatives, leading to a high-octane chase through the lab's corridors, with invented details like hidden trapdoors and automated defenses adding pulse-pounding excitement. This grave danger could culminate in a scenario where Britt, despite their history, steps in as an unlikely savior, perhaps using her medical knowledge to counteract a toxin Emma accidentally exposes herself to, or physically intervening in a kidnapping attempt by Sidwell's henchmen. Such a rescue might chip away at Emma's hardened stance, fostering a reluctant respect or even a tentative bond, reminiscent of how adversaries in Port Charles often evolve into allies. Emma's initial shock upon learning of Britt's survival delivered through gossip channels, or a dramatic reveal at a family gathering once sit well, but a life-saving act could pivot their dynamic, exploring themes of forgiveness and redemption. Next, we will learn about the heart-pounding confrontation that pits Anna Devane against a ghost from her tormented past, unleashing a storm of disbelief, danger, and dark family secrets in the shadowy corners of Port Charles. Plunging into the chaos, Anna Devane finds herself thrust into a desperate life-or-death struggle, but the identity of her adversary defies all logic and reason, leaving even the seasoned spy reeling in astonishment. At first, Anna can scarcely process the reality unfolding before her, her sharp instincts clashing with the impossibility of the moment, though deep down, a flicker of grim acceptance stirs. After all, this figure has clawed their way back from the grave multiple times before, defying death like a recurring nightmare. Envision this scene in a fog-shrouded alleyway near the docks, where the salty air mixes with the metallic tang of impending violence. and Anna's hand instinctively reaches for a concealed weapon she's carried since her WSB days. This isn't just any foe, it's a specter whose resurrections have haunted her for decades, weaving through her life like a poisonous thread, inventing fresh layers to the tension. Perhaps Anna catches a glimpse of a familiar scar on the attacker's neck, a remnant from a long-ago explosion she thought had ended it all, forcing her to question if advanced cloning tech or a twisted twin could be at play. As the standoff intensifies, Anna's mind races through contingency plans, her training kicking in to turn the tables. But the emotional weight of this reunion threatens to cloud her judgment, blending raw fear with unresolved hatred. Drawing from her vast reservoir of experiences, Anna has witnessed every trick in the book when it comes to deception. Elaborate masks that mimic faces with eerie precision, meticulously staged deaths that fool even the closest allies, and vanishings that leave trails of confusion and grief. She's navigated the murky waters of FBI blackmails involving individuals presumed lost forever, only for them to resurface like Jason Morgan, whose own deaths have become legendary in Port Charles lore, each return more explosive than the last. In this dire moment, Anna could certainly use Jason's unflinching backup, his silent strength and combat prowess honed from years as an enforcer. But he's preoccupied safeguarding another presumed deceased soul, Britt Westburn, whose miraculous survival has sent ripples of shock through the town. The entire community buzzes with disbelief at Britt's reappearance, from everyday residents whispering in coffee shops to detectives like Dante Falconeri, being caught completely off guard during a routine investigation, his usual composure shattered by the sight of her striding through General Hospital's halls. Even Britt's own mother, Liesel Obrecht, was blindsided, having mourned her daughter with a funeral that felt all too real, burying what she believed was the last piece of her fractured family. Anna, ever the astute observer, trusts Liesel's genuine grief, noting the raw pain in her eyes during a clandestine meeting, where they exchanged theories about Britt's fake demise, perhaps inventing details like hidden medical records that suggest cryogenic preservation, played a role in the ruse. Yet, Britt's astonishing comeback pales in comparison to the earth-shattering revelation of who has hunted Anna down, using Britt's trail as a breadcrumb to this fateful encounter. The attacker emerges from the shadows with a presence that's both familiar and utterly impossible, their voice echoing with a chilling timbre that transports Anna back to her darkest days. Britt's story, while dramatic, holds a thread of tragic logic. Orchestrated her death to spare her mother the agony of watching her succumb to illness, a selfless act born from love amid despair. Liesel had cradled Britt in her final moments after the heroic save of Jocelyn Jacks from the Hook Killer, later unmasked as the deranged Heather Weber, desperately checking for a pulse that seemed absent, her world crumbling in that instant. But for Anna, the figure before her stretches credibility to its breaking point, demanding compliance with a threat of lethal force, accompany him or face immediate death. In a surge of defiance, Anna demands, "Who are you, and what do you want?" Her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her veins, suspecting a hyperrealistic mask crafted to impersonate Caesar Phazon, the obsessive villain who has terrorized her life. Lingering in her thoughts is a haunting puzzle if this is truly Phazon, then whose preserved brain resides in that infamous jar of formaldehyde, a trophy from a previous final defeat? Inventing new intrigue, perhaps Anna recalls a clandestine lab report hinting at duplicated organs through illicit experiments, adding a sci-fi twist to Phazon's potential immortality. The confrontation escalates into a high-stakes deadlock, with this Manuel mirrors Phazon in every detail, from his sinister grin to his manipulative cadence declaring his return, to reclaim his twisted vision of family, encompassing Britt, Anna herself, and even young Emma Scorpio Drake, wielding a gun with the advantage gained from the sheer shock of his appearance. He outlines his demands in a voice dripping with possessive madness, positioning himself as the patriarch come to gather his scattered kin under one malevolent roof. Shockingly, he possesses intimate knowledge of his grandchildren, James West and Bailey Lou Jones, details that shouldn't be accessible to a dead man, perhaps gleaned through a network of spies he's rebuilt in secrecy, inventing elements like intercepted family letters or hacked digital photos that expose vulnerabilities. This doppelganger's agenda extends to vengeful retribution for Anna's role in leaving his eldest son, Heinrich Phazon, better known as the notorious Peter Augusto, perish in a European inferno, a decision Anna made without regret after Peter's reign of terror. He recites the entire saga with unnerving accuracy, from Peter's manipulative schemes to his fiery end, forcing Anna to relive the guilt and justification in a tense verbal sparring match. As the barrel of the gun presses closer, Anna's mind whirs with strategies, perhaps a feigned surrender to lure him into a trap, or a swift disarmament move from her WSB training, all while pondering if this is the real Phazon resurrected through some unholy science, or a perfect imposter engineered by a greater foe. In this pulse-racing battle for survival, Anna must summon every ounce of her resilience to outmaneuver this enigmatic threat, questioning whether she can unmask and defeat the doppelganger before he tears apart the fragile piece she's built. The air thickens with uncertainty as Anna dodges a potential shot, using the environment to her advantage of perhaps overturning a nearby crate for cover in their improvised battlefield, her heart pounding with the echoes of past traumas. This encounter not only tests her physical limits, but dredges up emotional scars, forcing a reckoning with Phazon's lingering shadow over her life and loved ones. Inventing deeper layers, maybe Anna spots a telltale glitch in his mannerisms, like a slight hesitation in his accent, hinting at plastic surgery or eye-assisted mimicry funded by a rival syndicate. As the struggle unfolds, it could draw in unexpected allies, like a timely intervention from Robert Scorpio, alerted by a distress signal and activates discreetly. The outcome hangs in the balance, promising more revelations about Phazon's family claims and the true extent of his influence. From beyond the grave, with these jaw-dropping developments on the horizon, General Hospital continues to deliver twists that keep us guessing and gasping. Make sure to like, subscribe, and enable notifications on our channel to catch every spoiler and update from the world of Port Charles. Your front row seat to the drama awaits.